Welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel, and today it is time to predict the BAFTA Awards. We are going full-on British mode here, and today we got the awards garage here. Gerald, how are we doing?
Christian, what's up, brother? I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. It's great to have you on the channel. And so, yeah, this is going to be interesting because, I mean, let's face it, really, the BAFTAs are kind of strange because in many categories, they will align with the Oscars in terms of, the tech categories, and they will call upsets in the acting categories. But for best film, they don't really align that much unless there is a full-on sweeper throughout the season. So this is what makes it pretty interesting. Like, how are you feeling about, not only this year's award season in general, but also where BAFTA could be going?
I agree. It's I don't really know which way to go, so I'm actually glad you had me on to kind of brainstorm a little bit with you before I lock all this stuff in final. But when I was looking at some history of the BAFTAs, you mentioned the locks, like you got like Oppenheimer, right? They matched up there. Nomadland in 2020, which was a really weird year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, in the last 8 years, I don't think they've hit. So
yeah, no,
it's do you go with one battle after another, which is kind of a behemoth and thought to be the front runner for Best Picture and might just steamroll everything, or are they going to do something crazy like maybe a Hamnet? I mean, I don't know. I mean, they did Conclave last year, which of course didn't win. So I really don't know. I'm feeling like we shouldn't resist the one battle wave that I think we're on right now. But at the same time, I can see a lot of different things playing out. So
yeah, we'll definitely get into the predictions here in a bit, and it's and you are right, like how BAFTA just doesn't really align with the Oscars. In fact, Brother Bro has even stated that it's basically it was either Brother Bro or it's Oscar expert, but I'm pretty sure it was Brother Bro who said it's basically a negative stat where it's like if you're winning BAFTA Best Film, you're probably not winning Best Picture because it's like they just actively go against what the Oscars are doing. So
unless you like you said, unless it's that perceived front runner that's just dominating, I don't know that I'm ready to say one battle is like Oppenheimer was in 23, but I can see some similarities there in terms of the award circuit. So I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, this is very interesting because for best film we got Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. Now I will say I am still wondering if Sinners could win Best Picture because of PGA and because I still think 16 nominations is very strange for a movie to not win Best Picture. But so
you're talking about the Oscars, okay?
Yeah, the Oscars. BAFTA's absolutely not going to do Sinners. I don't really care how well Sinners does here in terms of wins because all it needed was the nominations, and it still got 13 nominations. That was the sign of strength I needed to see from it because you look at Everything Everywhere All at Once, the only award it won here was editing. It could Sinners could win one award and I wouldn't really blink because it's especially director. Ryan Coogler getting in for director was all the proof I needed where it's all right, I don't need to be that concerned over how weak it could potentially be because yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt you. I agree. I think that, and I've said this on a couple of videos of mine recently on my channel, that I wonder if the acting prizes are going to be kind of like a tiebreaker situation between Sinners and One Battle. And BAFTAs could have a lot to do with that. Of course, so could the SAG because there's a lot of crossover with acting there. I think that might be where it tips the scale as to which one of those ends up taking Best Picture. I think directors, PTA, I think they're both going to get screenplay, right? We're talking about the Oscars, I mean.
Yeah.
So they're going to basically both have what they need, but who's got the acting win? What movie has the acting win? And if you look at all the acting categories, a lot of the frontrunners or quote unquote getting close to being locks are actors that are not in those two movies. So the supporting actress race is huge for me in my predictions because I feel like whoever wins the supporting actress, or let me rephrase that, whatever movie the supporting actress wins in, Best Picture winner. That's what I'm kind of thinking might be a tiebreaker situation.
Yeah, I do agree because supporting actress here is going to be a bloodbath, and we'll get to that here in a bit because there's so many good arguments for two specific actresses in general. like. So here, I don't really think Hamnet's winning. I don't think we're going to get a Conclave situation because
Okay.
Conclave showed immediate strength with screenplay right out the gate with the Globes. Like, that was something that I thought was kind of unprecedented because the Globes don't really usually, at least for the longest time, didn't really go for adapted screenplays unless it was Aaron Sorkin. So,
Mhm.
like, Conclave getting screenplay out the gate was really impressive, and pairing that up with best film and all that, and the fact that Edward Berger was already a previous like juggernaut at
Sure.
BAFTA before, I feel like that really showed that okay, Conclave is pretty strong, and also that it ultimately also won, what was it, SAG Ensemble, which again was a pretty big surprise for me.
Right.
Hamnet,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, Hamnet is really Jessie Buckley or bust. Now, granted, she's dominating a lead actress. There's no way she's losing anything. I mean, God, the fact that Hamnet got SAG Ensemble was like, okay, so SAG's clearly not blinking on Hamnet, so we don't have to worry about her.
Right.
But it's just not winning screenplay or really any, and I don't really expect that to change. Whereas with One Battle After Another, like, the BAFTAs like PTA. Like, lest we forget, they gave Licorice Pizza original screenplay over Sir Kenneth Branagh for Belfast. So it's
Right.
like that showed that they really do like PTA. So, and like I said, this doesn't really change my Oscar predictions for best film or best picture because again, Sinners could still do very well. Again, the main thing for me is PGA. I need to see what PGA does. But
PGA is gonna be huge. I agree with you. I have been kind of telling myself for the last few weeks that I think Sinners makes the most sense for a PGA win, but I just don't know. I feel like it's literally a coin flip. I feel like it's gonna be a 51-49 situation. Like it could literally be either one of them. I know you're not as high on One Battle as I am or a lot of people are, but I've always said I can't lose. Whichever one of these movies ends up doing it, I'm fine. I love both these films. Real quick to touch on what you said about Hamnet when we're going to be talking about BAFTAs here tonight with predictions in a little bit. Hamnet strikes me as like, even if you don't look at any of these stats or whatever, it does strike me as a very BAFTA friendly film. Like, I mean, the Shakespeare era, where it's taking place. I mean, it's a British production. Like, they also love Chloe Zhao there. We just mentioned Nomadland was one of the few times that they did match up there. So I have it in my number 2 spot, like maybe with sentimental value in a couple categories, but those are like 2A and 2B for me. So if they are missing or they don't win, I'm talking about Hamnet. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be really close, or they could win and upset and be like a conclave situation. We'll talk about it in a second, and I'm gonna try to lock in what I think I'm gonna predict. But I wouldn't be surprised, let's put it that way, because it does feel like a very BAFTA, a film that they're gonna love. I was surprised it missed in a couple categories when they announced the nominations. That kind of gave me pause a little bit because I thought it would get nominated everywhere. It didn't it miss like editing or production design or something like that?
It did miss editing. I don't know about production design, but I know that it also missed casting.
No, it got in production design. Yeah, it missed casting. Yeah, so it did miss a couple, but I mean,
But
I don't know. I just in my mind, without thinking of any like statistics in my mind, I'm just like, oh, that's a film they're gonna love. Like that just seems like a BAFTA film to me.
Perhaps. Again, it is just weird though. It is weird because like usually the British favorites tend to overperform at BAFTA, and they tend to. Whereas here, like, I guess it in some ways overperform, but also like I don't know, it getting makeup is just very bizarre and very BAFTA thing. Like they'll just like glaze Best Picture nominees in just about in the tech categories. I mean, lest we forget, Poor Things and Black Panther getting visual effects. It's like what, but still.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, One Battle After Another. I don't like I said, I don't like it. One Battle could sweep here, and it doesn't really matter for me in terms of the Oscars. It depends on the other guilds, but for me, I think One Battle After Another is going to win Best Film at BAFTA, no matter what.
I think so too. I mean, that's what I've got right now. I just wanted to mention the Hamnet thing because I could see that happening. It won the Globe drama. It's very BAFTA friendly. I wouldn't be like jaw on the floor if it happened. So that's my close runner up, but I do think it's One Battles as well.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Again, like at least for me, the number two is very close between a number of films, but yeah. Then we got Best Director. Yorgo Lanthimos for Begonia, Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Ryan Coogler for Sinners. I think, especially ever since DGA, even if Sinners were to win Best Picture, Paul Thomas Anderson is just coming in with director. Like he's just, there's nothing stopping him at this point.
Yeah, this is about to be the most boring race ever if you were in for some drama because it's PTAs. I always thought it was anyway, but that DGA really sealed it up, I feel like. I mean, I can't even envision what would have to happen in the next 3 weeks for him to lose that. So I think he's got the BAFTA too. Anywhere there's a director prize, I feel like he's going to show up the rest of the way. So that's also my prediction.
Yeah, it would like it would like like for something like a Ryan Coogler upset to happen. Would it be even more shocking than Bong Joon-ho, because at least Bong Joon-ho tied Critics' Choice. So it's like, so yeah, like really, it's Paul Thomas Anderson's to lose. So then we got original screenplay, which I think is interesting. We got I Swear, Marty Supreme, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. I feel like this is interesting. Now, granted, only 3 of these have lined up with the Oscar, with Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, and Sinners.
Right.
This is one where I am actually willing to predict Sinners here, because one,
okay.
Yeah, one, it got 13 nominations. That's pretty huge. And also, like, despite what a lot of people say, it's like the BAFTAs don't always disagree on screenplay that much. Like, I always remember, like even American Fiction managed to win adapted screenplay off of its only nomination. And, granted, the BAFTAs aren't the kindest towards, black directed films. So the fact that Sinners got a lot of love here, that's gotta be significant to me. So it's like, and with Sentimental Value, I do hear what people are saying with, when they're predicting Sentimental Value to win here. The only issue is that I feel like the Oscars like Sentimental Value more than BAFTA, because they, like, not only did BAFTA not longlist Elle Fanning for supporting actress and didn't even longlist it for editing, but the Oscars nominated it in both those categories. So it's like, I feel like, so I think in a weird twist of situations, I think the Oscars like Sentimental Value more. And using that logic, considering that the Oscars like Sinners even more than BAFTA, I feel like it's probably, with both those two in mind, I kind of feel like Sinners just might take original screenplay here at the BAFTAs, because there's just, like, even in a situation like this, it's like they, like, the screenplay categories aren't usually the craziest with BAFTA. I don't know.
Yeah. My current prediction is Sentimental Value, but I think your argument makes sense. I mean, obviously they love Sinners. I mean, which honestly, going into BAFTA nominations morning, I did not think, and I'm a big fan of Sinners, and I did not think they were going to give it as many nominations as they did. So it overperformed as far as I'm concerned. It did really well. I mean, it's an American story, American history's in the film, a very Americanized, American-centric story, and they went for it. So I think that's awesome. And I think Coogler's really been doing a great job on the circuit, and he's very well respected. I think that, to your argument, it would make sense, because I also feel like certain bodies might want to reward him if they see the opportunity, because it probably is PTAs for the big show, so, and they're going to know that. I think the Sentimental Value pick for me, though, that I'm at least sticking with right this second, is it just, again, kind of like I said with Hamnet, I do feel like it's a movie that will, if you put it next to Sinners specifically in this particular scenario, which one would appeal to British folks more? Which one would speak to their sensibilities a little bit more? And it also got a lot of nominations, not as many as Sinners, but it did perform really well. And it's got the international piece. It performed really well at the European Awards. Worst Person in the World a few years ago got, I think, 2 or 3 nominations at the BAFTAs. So, I'm thinking original screenplay is going to go Sentimental Value, but I would actually love it if it went to Sinners and Coogler, because that would be, against tight for the BAFTA. And you mentioned the African American kind of bias there, which sucks. So that would be great if that kind of trend broke, and with Sinners, one of the, like, cultural phenomena of this decade. But I don't know that I'm ready to predict that necessarily. So I'm going to go with Sentimental Value as my prediction for original screenplay.
I could see that. It's just like, I think the other thing for me is that, like, for me, it was also really shocking that American Fiction managed to beat not only Oppenheimer at BAFTA, but also Poor Things and The Zone of Interest. I mean,
Yeah,
granted,
that was crazy. That
yeah,
was crazy.
that I feel like just really made me go, okay, maybe I should go Sinners here, because it's like clearly, I mean,
Yeah, it makes sense.
because clearly they do like him more than American Fiction. So I mean, the fact that it got like what 13 times the amount of nominations than American Fiction got. So yeah, but we'll have to.
It's not a bad. It's not a bad argument. It's not a bad argument.
Yeah, and also this would be the first televised speech for screenplay that Ryan Coogler would get, and maybe the only
Man, that'd be
one
awesome.
leading up to the Oscars.
That would be awesome.
Oh, I hope. Yeah, I hope
Yeah,
so. Then we get
that'd be
to
great.
adapted screenplay: The Ballad of Wallace Island, Begonia, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, Pillion. This was definitely a surprise for me, considering not only that
Weird bunch.
Frankenstein missed, and also Train Dreams. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like, God. But I think that just made it even more clear that I think One Battle After Another is just going to take adapted screenplay. Because it's just like,
Yeah.
again, it's like, what else? Like, what else is happening here?
Yeah, it's a real hodgepodge of nominees here. I mean, I'm assuming Hamnet's the number 2, but I think it's probably a large gap between PTA and Hamnet. So, yeah, I'm going to go One Battle pretty easily in this category.
Yeah, like one could make the very slight argument for Begonia, but also but I don't know. But although Begonia still did do pretty well here, but I got it's one back.
It's got to be.
Yeah. Leading actress: Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, Chase Infinity for One Battle After Another, Renate Reinsve for Sentimental Value, and Emma Stone for Begonia. Again, very surprised that the BAFTAs did Kate Hudson, considering how much of like exclusively
Me too.
Exclusively American that is. I mean, I like the BAFTAs will nominate like American stuff, but it's like the fact that like they nominated a movie about a cover band of Neil Diamond that I'm pretty sure like I don't know, very very surprising to me, but really
That whole thing is like that whole thing is just knocked me on my ass. The whole Kate Hudson thing. I'm just like, oh my god. I think it's just proof that it's stretched to the BAFTAs too, but I think it's just proof that the campaigning really matters. And when you have the right people in your camp and they're getting the word out there for you and having screenings and doing whatever, that it works. It's just like when you're running for office. If people don't know who you are, they're not going to vote for you. So she definitely has a name in Hollywood and in the business. She's well revered, and she's a great actress. I just wasn't very high on the film Song Sung Blue. I didn't really like it very much, but she was fine in it, and it was a good performance. I love that Chase Infinity's here, even though she didn't make the Oscars. I love that she's in here. But yeah, I mean, this is Jessie Buckley, right? I mean, especially at the BAFTA.
I mean, yeah,
but I think she's a sweeper pretty much all season.
Yeah, she's really I would honestly say she's the only 100% guaranteed like acting win throughout the season.
Sure.
Yeah, like really, it's like, again, SAG literally nominated Hamnet for ensemble. It's like what are we doing? It's like of course it's gonna it's gonna be a complete sweep for Jessie Buckley. So yeah,
I would think so too.
Lead actor. Oh boy, this is where things get really interesting. Robert Aramayo for I Swear, Timothy Chalamet for Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, and Jesse Plemons for Begonia. Now, throughout this whole season, a lot of people have been telling me, not like the pundits themselves, because even what's his name, Adriano Caparuso concurred with me on this. It's like Timothy Chalamet is the front runner now, but
sure.
Oh my God! The fact that people are telling me, oh, there's no way Leo can win a second Oscar. I'm like, no way. No,
I don't know about
way.
that. I've had people tell me that too, and he's been my number 2 spot, just waiting to see what happens for months. So I don't know why people are saying that.
Yeah, no. The Oscar, if the Oscars wanted to give him a second Oscar, they would. They could. Because the thing is,
yeah.
If One Battle After I think BAFTA comes before PGA, which is really scary because if One Battle After Another does emerge itself as the front runner, I'm very tempted to predict Leo DiCaprio for the win.
Well, and here's the thing too. There's a sentiment, and I don't know why people would even say that to begin with, because I don't like speaking in absolutes, especially at this point in award season. We don't have a lot of these precursors yet. But here's the sentiment, even on my channel, even. But if you go further out in Hollywood and other people that have a larger following, or you listen to podcasts that talk about movies and stuff, the sentiment is that Leo should have like 2 more Oscars at least for performances that he's put in. And you couple that with the fact that he had to wait, what was it, like 17 years or something like that before he got his first win for The Revenant, which, I mean, I like that movie, but I don't think that was his best performance, Oscar worthy performance. I'm glad he got it, but that
Oh,
sentiment's out there. So if I hear that on my channel, you don't think the 10,000 members in the Academy are having those whisperings by the water cooler about that kind of shit? I mean, he's one of the greatest living actors, and I don't think that you can count him out in a PTA film. I just don't think you can. Now, I'm not predicting him right now, but I'm with you that there's not a world where he does not at least have a chance to win.
yeah,
You know,
no.
I mean, he does. It's Leo, so.
Yeah, that's it. It is tough because again, and again, I bring up Adriano. It's like all Leo needs to win is either SAG or BAFTA, and he's taking the Oscar from Timmy. It's like yoink, that's mine now. It's like all it takes
And
is one upset.
And you know what could be really fucking scary? I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a huge Timothy Chalamet fan. I love him,
Oh yeah,
and
same.
I pull for him every year. And I thought he was going to do something last year, and it just didn't end up happening. And you know, Brody was great too, or whatever. But I was pulling for Timmy all year, and I am again this year. But you know what scares me is that the BAFTAs are next weekend,
Mm-hmm.
right? And let's say that Timmy loses there, okay?
Oh.
Which I know we're going to give our predictions in a second,
Mm-hmm.
but let's say he does lose there to whoever you want to fill in the blank with. It doesn't really matter who he loses to, but he just loses. And then SAG, which is a week later, doesn't give him the SAG because he won it last year, right? And so they're like, well, we just gave him the SAG. He's 30 years old. He's fine. We don't need to give it to him again. Then all of a sudden, he's lost 2 major precursors in a row, maybe to the same person. Let's say it's Leo or Ethan Hawke or whoever. Then, I mean, he's cooked. You know, in the public perception, he would be cooked because that person would then basically flip with him and be the front runner, at least perceivably. So it could go really rough for Timmy over the next few weeks if he loses BAFTA. I mean, you know, unless the SAG decides to double up on him, but they've never done that before. They've never given out that award to the same person 2 years in a row. So I don't
If
know, man. I don't know.
if here's the thing, even if Timmy rebounds and wins SAG, if he loses to Leo here, I'd still vote for no, not vote. I'd still predict Leo because it's like again, just one upset is all I need. Unless he unless he loses to like I don't know Robert Aramayo, where it's like okay, well that doesn't really help
Then
us at
maybe you'll
all.
stick with Timmy at that point.
But it's
What
like
if it's what if it's Ethan Hawke though? Because you know Hawke could win SAG.
that
You know
I
he's got a
just can't.
narrative.
I don't even think he's my. He's not even my. Like, honestly, he's not even in my top three for to win because it's like I just
I think
never
he's a
put
threat though.
here. If anything, if anyone were a number three for me, I would say Michael B. Jordan because he's not missed a beat anywhere. He's got a lot of wins, and Sinners is like could potentially win Best Picture. So
Mm-hmm.
like and SAG would like that's very SAG friendly, especially how much they like. So it's like where it's Ethan Hawke. I mean, sure it did. The movie also did get original screenplay, but it's just like it would be a very weird best lead actor winner. Like even The Whale seemed like it was like a bigger best picture contender than Blue Moon was.
Yeah, I
Like
think Hawk is. I think Hawk's a threat if he were able to attack. And there's a possibility that he could because they love a narrative there, and they love him, and he's been around forever. Maybe even the BAFTA, although I think that's a little more far fetched. But I mean, it's a Broadway musical adjacent film and tied to the industry a little bit. You know, I always thought it was funny when I'm going through my predictions. I do it every couple of weeks on my channel, and I update them or whatever. And it's always funny to me on that lead actor when I get to it. I've been predicting Timmy all season, and that's still the case. But I look at it and I go, you know, any of these 5 guys could win this. Like literally, any of them could be the leader. I'd be like, okay, you know, they won that because, and it would kind of make sense. So it's a really, really good group this year. You know, Wagner Moore, the whole thing, which of course he's not here, but for real quick, just to give you for lead actor for BAFTA, I'm going to stick with Timothy Chalamet just because in my mind, if he loses this, I feel like he loses the Oscar because I feel like
yeah,
that's going to start kind of a backsliding situation.
I mean,
And I
yeah.
just don't want to be a part of that. So I'm gonna pick Timothy to win the BAFTA here. So
Yeah, no, I do agree. Like if he again, even if even if he loses this and wins SAG, it's like, well, look what happened to Demi Moore.
right, right.
Once you lose one precursor to a stronger Best Picture film, you're kind of cooked. Also, again, look at Glenn Close versus Olivia Colman. Glenn Close was the only nomination for her film, and Olivia Colman came in, and it's like, yoink, that's mine now. So it's like,
And yeah. And unlike what we said about picture, it's a little bit different with acting. BAFTA's usually pretty good about predicting
oh yeah,
lead. So
yeah.
yeah.
Right now, I'll go Timothy Chalamet right now. But again, but also I will say, considering BAFTA's before PGA, if Leo wins here, I think then I probably would say, well, I guess One Battle After Another is taking PGA because because really I just don't know how Leo wins lead actor if One Battle After Another is not winning Best Picture. Cause I mean, I guess I could.
Right.
I mean, there is a world, but it'd be very weird if that were the case. I should say, because at that point,
Yeah, no, I think they come hand in hand. I
yeah.
think they go together. Yeah.
So yeah, like it is scary. It is scary because, but yeah, if anyone's saying that Leo can't possibly win, they're out of their minds.
Yeah, I
No,
don't. I've had people hit me with that in my comments too. I don't understand that. If they back it up or something, that's different. But in my head, I'm just like, because there were people telling me, Christian, back in May. I'm not saying I don't remember what you said back in May, but there were people telling me back in May that One Battle wasn't even going to be present at the Oscars this year. you know,
I
so
can.
those same people are probably now saying that Leo's not going to be, possibly win or whatever. I'm like, we don't know, guys. We don't know. And it's Leonardo DiCaprio in a PTA movie that is easily one of the strongest and probably going to be the Best Picture winner, or at least the top two. So, I mean, I just don't know why you would make that claim. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I was kind of like iffy on One Battle After Another after that initial trailer, like that initial teaser, because it was kind of like,
Right.
I
Right.
don't know what's going on here. But obviously, once other films like Jay Kelly and whatnot started to dwindle down, and then obviously when the movie came out, it's like, oh wait, everyone loves this now. Okay, so yeah. But and ever since it came out and people started loving it, it's like, oh god, Leo, like he's number two at this point. He's number two. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he's great in it too, man. He's really good in it too.
yeah, he's very good. But yeah, supporting actress. Oh Jesus Christ! Okay,
Oh boy.
we
Oh
have
boy, it's the main event
we got
already. Oh my god.
we got Odessa A. Zion for Marty Supreme, Inga Ibsdaughter Lilius for Sentimental Value, Wunmi Masaku for Sinners, Carrie Mulligan for The Ballad of Wallace Island, Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another, and Emily Watson for Hamnet. This, I feel like, was the death sentence for any possibility of Amy Madigan winning supporting actress. Aside from being the only nomination for her movie at the Oscars, not even getting nominated here. It's like, okay, all right, it's over. It's Jover. You
Yeah.
had a good run, but you're not winning anymore. Even though she probably
Yeah.
would be.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, even though she'd probably be my vote, but whatever. This
Yeah.
is very consequential. Like as you said, one of these two, like whether it's for me, it's so dangerously close between Wunmi Masaku and Tiana Taylor. It is
Mm.
dangerously close. That which could be very consequential later on down the line. Because I've been saying, like, sure, Tiana Taylor, yeah, she's very strong for One Battle After Another, and she even won the Golden Globe. All right.
Mhm.
Sinners is still number two for like either number two or number one for Best Picture, depending on how you look at it. And not only that, it didn't really miss that much of a beat at BAFTA. And Wunmi Masaku is British, and she's a previous BAFTA winner. This is her home turf, and
Yeah, I agree.
so competing in your own home turf as a top two Best Picture contender, that's very strong. The only thing going against her is that Tiana Taylor is also in a top two Best Picture film. So who do you prioritize more? That's the question we're gonna try to answer right now. Oh,
Yeah, for me, everything you just said, I've been saying for a few weeks now. I just kind of think in my head, like, and I don't even know when it clicked for me, but I was like talking to somebody or doing an online chat with somebody, and I was like, yeah, there was this Netflix horror film about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago called His House. It may have been during COVID or right before it, but she was in that really, really fucking good, like haunted house film, and she got nominated there for that. And I'm like thinking to myself, this is Sinners, like the like cinema event of the year, and this is one of their girls, British, previous nominee, previous winner, like you said, which I think was for TV.
Yeah.
Um, but she's there, she's been there, So I am predicting her right now, just so you know. She's my prediction to win the BAFTA for supporting actress. Win me. I think Inga Ibsdottir Lilius is right there with Teyana Taylor, and I think we aren't really going to know until the night of whether the tides are shifting towards sentimental value a little bit more or towards Sinners a little bit more. I think everybody kind of thinks one battle is going to be strong depending on where it hits, but it's going to be strong across the board. But what's that number two? What's that other movie that's getting pieces of the vote? And I think it's either sentimental value or Sinners for the most part, and then Hamlet's going to be in the mix too for a lot of categories because it's British. So if it goes the way I think it's gonna go, I would say Wound Me here for supporting, and then maybe Sinners for casting too when we get there. We talk about that a little bit. And then we've already mentioned that one battle probably is picture and director, a screenplay. So I'm gonna go Wound Me right now, but I think Teyana and Inga are my tied for number two right now. And I really don't know who the winner would be if Wound Me doesn't win. I really don't. And honestly, it could be Emily Watson too, because of the British thing. I mean, really. I mean, they could go crazy. Like, let's just say they love Hamnet and it starts winning all this shit that doesn't really tell us anything for the Oscars, which, I mean, they could be cute and do that. So I don't know.
Yeah, Emily Watson is probably too much chaos for me to predict.
So I mean, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's like even crazier than anything that happened during the All Quiet year. It's like, all right, like that's just something like no one would ever call.
I know.
So it's like,
yeah.
But I do think Teyana Taylor is stronger than Inga because One Battle After Another is just so significantly stronger than sentimental value, and sentimental value did underperform at BAFTA, right at the nomination gate, or even not even the nomination gate, just like at the shortlist gate. So,
yeah.
But you are right. Wunmi Masaku, she's been here before. And again, not only she's been here before, but Sinners is really strong. Because like I said before, Sinners just needed to show it can be strong just off of nominations. It doesn't even need to win a lot here. It just needed to show the nominations, and it got about as many as it probably could have gotten. I mean, really the only things it didn't get were supporting actor, but also no one was ever gonna see Paul Mescal losing in that kind of a tight, crowded five. And admittedly, I guess for me the real shocker, at least at BAFTA, was visual effects, because I didn't predict Sinners for the Oscar for visual effects, but for BAFTA I would have thought again, they love Best Picture nominees and they'll nominate them for anything in visual effects. So I thought that would happen, but they didn't even longlist it. And they don't have a song category, so whatever. Basically Sinners performed as well as expected. So
I agree.
But yeah, Wunmi Masaku, and plus, if Sinners were to win Best Picture, Wunmi Masaku coming along with the film is a pretty good that's a pretty good get. And so and if she won here, I don't really think there's that much of a stretch to say she wouldn't also win SAG, considering they love Sinners over there as well, and they'll probably give it ensemble. So I do think Wunmi Masaku is winning BAFTA as well. But again, Teyana Taylor definitely could. I think for me, it's if Teyana Taylor won here, it's okay. So if she could even take down Wunmi Masaku, then it's Wunmi might not be winning the Oscar. But then yeah.
Well, of course, I don't know. This is all predictive, but I think that Wunmi will get this. I think SAG will probably go for Amy Madigan based on the narrative and the 50-year career and all that. I mean, it's a great performance too, don't get me wrong, but they love horror performances there. She's been doing it forever. She has a narrative. So, and then when you get to the Oscars, you'll have, now, of course, you got Critics' Choice also, so she'll technically have the two major televised precursors. But then Wunmi will have one and Teyana will have one, right? Two, each of them pretty large, but BAFTA, in my opinion, has more strength based on the crossover with the Academy. So it would be really fun. Now, I will tell you, this is the other side, though. If Teyana Taylor wins the BAFTA, that's it. She wins the Oscar. That's over. So that's the difference in how quickly that story can change. Because if Wunmi or really anybody else wins at the BAFTA, then we still don't really know, and it's really exciting for a few more weeks. But if Teyana Taylor wins, then it's over, in my opinion. So it's funny how it could be like, so off depending on what happens. But um, I'm going to go with Woonmi, and I do recognize what you're saying about Teyana, and she could very easily win it too. And I would just caution people to have their eye on Inga as well. If we start to see love for sentimental value throughout the night when it comes to wins, then be like, oh, it's winning a lot more than I thought it would. Then she might come along with that. But yeah, I'm talking about for the BAFTA.
Yeah. Yeah, Woonmi, I think. Yeah, Woonmi is my prediction. And yeah, and to be honest, she probably would also be a very good win in my opinion. So yeah.
Me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
And also, unless we forget, she's also technically a horror performance. So, hey.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Supporting actor is also absolute chaos because we got Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Paul Mescal for Hamnet, Peter Mullen for I Swear, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. Right now, okay, the reason why I say it's chaos is because I know for a fact SAG is going to be chaos because, oh my god, because right now here I am predicting Stellan Skarsgård, but there's a boogeyman up in this bunch. All right, and his name is Sean Penn.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, no, he's just kind of like in the bushes, just kind of waiting. I feel like he's waiting to grab that award, because again, sort of like Leo, Sean Penn's also very respected in the Academy, and it's like One Battle After Another is also very strong in Best Picture, and he could very well take this. I mean, there is also Benicio del Toro, but it seems like a lot of his momentum has kind of stopped. I think even in the major, I think even in the critics groups, he's just kind of stopped winning. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, he kind of was like, I was like, oh, what's Benicio doing here? Because I wasn't even considering him a few months ago, because of his screen time and Sean Penn kind of sucking up all the air with the supporting performance. And I'm like, and even when I saw the movie back in like September or whatever it was, I was like, was Sean Penn's the play for this? I mean, that was a phenomenal performance. So it wasn't until he started getting all these kind of like critic mentions that I was like, what's Benicio doing here? And then it kind of just stopped happening for a while. And he's been he's been at shows and stuff, but he hasn't been winning a lot as of late. But I think that I always get like really weary if it's like two actors from the same movie in a category. I just feel like there's vote splitting any way you look at it. If they love the movie, they're going to vote whichever performance was their favorite between the two. And that's not going to be the same for every person. So that's probably going to hurt both of them at the end of the day. I am also, you said you're going Stellan here, right? Because I'm also going Stellan Skarsgård. But I do think Paul Mescal is a really strong possibility here, which would be mayhem for Oscar predictions, but because he's not in there. But I think that he's probably my number two. Maybe Elordi is right there as well. But I just think the One Battle Boys aren't going to be able to compete for this award at the BAFTA because of the vote splitting and because of the Mescal Skarsgård kind of strength. So I'm going with Stellan right now too.
I don't know, because we could say that, but then at the same time, there is also Barry Keoghan winning over.
Oh sure, yeah. I mean, sure, it happens, yeah.
And then there was also I don't know, I'm trying to remember if Woody Harrelson was nominated for 3 Billboards or not at BAFTA at least. I'm not exactly sure, but again, it's just because of how strong One Battle After Another is, I have to say one of the probably Sean Penn is probably number 2 for me. Because again, he's just kind of sneaking up there. And he is considered the standout of the film, and so yeah. But again, it's gonna make
you're talking about for the BAFTA. He's your number 2. That's what you mean for the BAFTA or for the Oscar?
Maybe both. It depends on how SAG goes as well, because SAG's gonna be absolute chaos. Because again, they're going to they clearly love One Battle After Another. But also Stellan Skarsgård isn't nominated there. I know some people are trying to think maybe Miles Caton could win in a Emily Blunt kind of scenario, but that would have to show such an unbelievable strength for Sinners that even I don't know if I could predict. I mean, I would love it if he did, but that's so crazy for me. And with Jacob Elordi, it's like yeah, he did win. It's like he did win Critics' Choice, but it's also he's I don't know. He just doesn't seem like that much of a win competitive thing, especially because like no one was really entertaining him for the win before Critics' Choice. Like that was such a
Yeah.
rando win. So it's like, and also it'd be kind of, and plus it would be kind of strange for like, you know, both Amy Madigan and Jacob Elordi to win at SAG when they're probably not winning for the Oscars. So it's just kind of like a bunch of things all together. Like, here's a
I
scenario
think
that.
Alor
What are you
Oh, go
saying?
ahead. I was gonna say, I think Elordi could also benefit though and receive some votes on the love for Guillermo del Toro too. I mean, he's so fucking loved in this industry, like it's crazy. Like, I mean, I love him too, so I'm not, talking down to it. But I mean, if they love Frankenstein enough and they love GDT enough, that could spill over to Elordi too. And I don't know if that's necessarily what happened at the Critics' Choice Awards because I thought Elordi did give a really good performance in Frankenstein. It was my favorite one in the movie,
I mean, yeah.
for sure. But I don't really see him getting anything else this season. I would be surprised. I would be happy about it, but I would be surprised.
Well, so wait, who are you thinking wins SAG?
For supporting, I think Sean Penn is probably the most SAG-ish of the bunch. Let me see what I had here though. Yeah, I've got Sean Penn winning it right now. That's SAG. Benicio's right there, right behind him.
Oh, okay. Here's
Yeah.
the insane scenario. Whether one gets like whoever gets nominated whereas whatever, but at SAG and BAFTA, like what would you do if it was either if like again it doesn't really matter who wins where because it's chaos either way. If
Sure.
Benicio del Toro won one of those precursors and Sean Penn won the other, like let's say Sean Penn wins BAFTA, Benicio del Toro wins SAG, that would be a scare. Like that would be the worst case scenario because it's like I don't know what to do at
Yeah,
that point.
that would be tough. Because then what would you? And then you have Elordi has Critics' Choice,
And Skarsgård
and
had like and Skarsgård.
Skarsgård has Globe. Yeah. Honestly, I would probably, I don't know, man. In that scenario, I might go Skarsgård. Honestly, because I feel like they both would be like canceling each other out. You wouldn't know who to vote for,
And that's
or you wouldn't know who to predict. But I probably whoever won the BAFTA though, to be honest, because the percentage there for crossover is more better with the Oscar.
yeah,
So,
yeah, in that scenario, I probably would go for the BAFTA winner and probably Sean Penn. But right now,
yeah,
Skarsgård, I think he's the safe bet. And plus,
yeah.
BAFTA and Golden Globe do have a similar taste towards one another, so probably him. Then we get to casting, where we have I Swear, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. I think it's probably going to be Sinners. Although again, like they're like BAFTA is always just kind of strange with casting because for the most part they were like pretty predictable. Not I wouldn't say predictable, but it was very much chaotic. Like they would like I'm not always and I'm not even saying like chaotic in a bad way because like these aren't really bad winners, but you know they had like Joker win one year, then Rocks, then what was it, West Side Story, then Elvis,
Right.
then Holdovers. It's like you don't really, and then Honora, you don't really know what they're doing.
No consistency to it, right? I was going sentimental value for a while. I recently switched to Sinners on my win me prediction, winning the supporting actress there. But I've also got Stellan winning supporting actor, so there would be proof for that one too. But I think it could be either one of those two, and really you can't count one battle out either, just because of how strong it is overall. This is a toss up category, honestly. I'm going to go Sinners right now to kind of help my prediction for Wumi Masaki getting it, but it could either be Sinners, Sentimental Value, or One Battle. I mean, they're pretty much a toss up in my mind.
Yeah, I might go Sinners as well. Cause isn't it also like a stat that like the BAFTA Best Casting winner usually has like an acting winner as like at BAFTA? Because I think that's usually the case. Like Mikey Madison
That
won.
right,
And
it is. That's why I said that I had Stone too, though. So either way, I would
yeah,
be meeting that criteria. But that's why I
yeah,
don't know. I mean, they're both. Yeah,
so, and plus there is also and like you also pointed out, One Battle After Another. Like if someone wins an acting award over at BAFTA, then like the casting could probably happen. But right now I might go
hmm
for Sinners. But yeah, that's
yeah.
probably my
I'm
prediction
with you.
right now.
Me too.
Cinematography, we have Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dream. Now for me, for my money, I'm still going with Sinners. Now, yes, British
Okay.
Society of Cinematographers did go with One Battle After Another, but they did also do Poor Things over Oppenheimer. And Train Dreams won Critics' Choice, but other than Oppenheimer, the 2020s have just not matched up between the cinematography winner at Critics' Choice and the Oscar for cinematography. So it is kind of like very hit or miss. Not even really hit or miss. The only hit they've had was Oppenheimer. So I think I'd probably still go for Sinners here for cinematography at BAFTA. What about you?
Yeah, that gave me pause when it did lose that last week. And I was like, oh, because I was pretty much locked into cinematography for Sinners. I think I'm still there, but I'm just not as confident in it. And also, it makes it tough when my favorite cinematography of the year, Valiso from Train Dreams, is in here because I'm like, that would be inspired. And it actually has the second most cinematography wins this season next to Sinners. So it's probably the stiffest competition if you're looking at like broad support. But it's probably going to be Sinners or One Battle. I mean, let's be honest. But I don't know, man. This might be One Battle actually. I don't know. What do you think? Because the British cinematography not going for Sinners was what kind of messed me up a little bit because I thought this would pretty much be them. But yeah, I think I'm gonna probably have to go One Battle for cinematography on that recent slip up. I think I just don't feel as good about it.
I feel like I still have to go for Sinners because I still feel like okay, like I think because if One Battle After Another won cinematography, I think it would then be. I think again part of that domino effect where it just unequivocally wins Best Picture and starts winning a lot of other awards as well. Because I don't know if One Battle like I could see a world where One Battle After Another wins Best Picture without Best Cinematography, but I don't see a world where One Battle After Another wins cinematography but doesn't win Best Picture. Like it's kind of one of those things. It's one of those domino effects and. I
Are you
like
talking about the Oscars or the BAFTAs
both.
or both?
Uh,
Okay, because I do have it winning Best Picture at both, but I definitely have it winning Best Picture at the BAFTA, so that would be okay for me to do for cinematography. I honestly, like I said, literally until last week, I was Sinners. Like I wasn't even like considering another movie for cinematography for that award. So it just kind of messed me up when it had that slip up. I would love for Train Dreams to like upset here and neither one of them get it because that would be like mayhem, but that would also be really cool for that film because I think it is the best cinematography of the year, much like Nickel Boys was last year. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go One Battle, but I could very easily see Sinners winning it, and frankly, Sinners probably should win it from a cinematography perspective. I know the rolling hills with the chase scene and all that in One Battle is always highlighted, which is which was awesome. But when and my daughter is a cinematographer. I don't know if you know that, but like whenever I see that stuff, like it's easy for me to kind of compare the two, and they're both phenomenal, like top tier shit. So you can't really have a loser in this category. They're both awesome, but I think it's definitely going to be one of the two of them. But I'm going to go ahead and go out for One Battle because I do think it's winning best film as well. So
yeah, I still yeah, like I said, I'm probably gonna go for Sinners because it's still like the big tech juggernaut. Although I will say, did you have like what did you predict for BAFTA cinematography once Poor Things beat Oppenheimer at BSC?
let's see, for cinematography.
Yeah, what did you predict at BAFTA?
What were the? I have to look and see what the nominees were.
I
Hang on.
think they were Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Saltburn, Killers of the Flower Moon,
I love Saltburn.
and I'm trying to remember what else the last one
I'm
was.
pretty sure I picked Oppenheimer. I'm pretty sure I predicted Oppenheimer.
Okay, so you stuck to your guns once.
Yeah,
All right. Just point.
yeah, I think I did.
All right. Uh, so yeah, like it is again. It is very interesting. But like,
Yeah.
and obviously, I think whatever would win BAFTA here, I'm like, okay, well, that's just gonna win the Oscar because BAFTA's pretty good with text for the most part, at least. But yeah, I'll do Sinners for now, but we'll see. Editing, we have F1, A House of Dynamite, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. The funny thing is, I said for the longest time, like, I was not going to have F1 winning editing because you need to be in Best Picture, like, at the Oscars.
Mhm.
You need to be nominated
Right.
for Best Picture at the Oscars because that's really correlative. And I was like,
Mhm.
I didn't even predict F1 for editing for the nomination because I was like, no,
Mhm.
it's still very closely tied with Best Picture. But now it's in Best Picture. That changes
Right.
literally everything about this. And if for nothing else, BAFTA loves cars. They love vroom vroom. They love cars. And
That's it.
what is the most car movie of the year?
F1.
F1, exactly. Yeah, so it's like that. It like that one nomination, that one little Best Picture upset changed everything. It's like, okay, well, it's just going to win editing at this point. Like, good God.
Yeah.
Now, some people have made the argument that one battle after another also has cars. Sure, but F1 has more cars. It's more.
Yeah, F1 meets that like race car kind of like bias that they have a lot. It fits more nicely into that box for sure. One Battle would probably be the runner up based on a lot of the car chases in that movie too. But when I think of editing and the quick cuts and stuff that they typically go for, it's more F1 for sure. So I've got F1 predicted to win this category too. By the way, real quick shout out. I love the House of Dynamite nomination. I
Oh
am
yeah.
like one of 10 guys that love that. I loved it.
Oh
I was
yeah.
so happy that they got in somewhere. So
Yeah. House of Dynamite's for me pretty underrated. It's like I thought it was a very very
yeah, I
good
love that
film.
movie.
Yeah,
Me too. It was one of
and
my favorites.
yeah, and especially in today's day and age, given who's in office, it makes me scared as to what would actually happen if something like that were to happen. Oh God.
Catherine Bigelow knows how to strike the nerve, man. I tell you.
Yeah, no, like whether yeah, like God. Yeah. F1, I think it's just winning at that like at this point like again, best picture nomination like that now is not really I mean, there's a world where I think one battle after another could maybe stop it, but it's like again, F1 is the most editing and it's also in best picture. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Production design, we have Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. There's not really, I guess you could maybe argue number 2 is Sinners, but really it's like Frankenstein just has the biggest, most glamorous sets out there this year. And like it's all just new stuff. It's like there's not really anything stopping Frankenstein here in production design.
Yeah, I've got Frankenstein predicted currently too for production design, but I do think Hamnet is a threat. I do. I almost, I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be doing my final predictions by the end of the week. I might end up changing. I don't know. Right. I got to really, really think on it, but I've got Frankenstein right now, but that reconstruction of the Globe Theatre there in London, which is obviously a very historic theater where Shakespeare first, had his plays performed and all that stuff was recreated. And, I don't know, that might really touch some emotions with that group specifically. And I wonder if that might do something for that film to get it over Frankenstein. But they do love Del Toro as well. So I don't, if it was another filmmaker or some random, filmmaker that wasn't Del Toro, then maybe. But right now I'm going to stick with Frankenstein as well.
I think it also just really helps considering Frankenstein is very much also strong in Best Picture, and whereas like Hamnet, it does have the recreation, but again, it's one of those things where it's like it would sort of be like for me, Hamnet is in a situation where like even if it won Best Picture here or Best Film here at BAFTA, I don't know if I would predict it to win production design because even All Quiet didn't do that. And it's like, so it's like, and that had probably a better argument for production design than Hamnet did. So Frankenstein, I think it just kind of makes sense. It's the most flashy, the biggest showy, fun, like crazy production design out there. It's in Best Picture. So yeah, I think it's probably going to be very, at least, or maybe not even very, probably. For me, it's very much Frankenstein, but yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's Frankenstein, like 65%, 35% possibility for Hamnet. So, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty much leaning Frankenstein.
Yeah. Costume design. We have Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Sinners, and Wicked for Good. Again, Frankenstein is just like, yeah, like sure, one could argue, well, I mean, Wicked just won Costume Designers Guild, but it's also just like, okay, but also Frankenstein won too. And it's also just like Wicked's just like also just dead and buried, like and like it's just gone, like. Phew. So yeah, Frankenstein. I feel like yeah, Frankenstein. I think is just gonna easily take this.
Yeah, I got Frankenstein predicted here as well, along with production design. They go hand in hand a lot of times. Paul Tazewell just won last year here and at the Oscar for costume design. So I think even though there's a lot more grandiose costumes in Wicked for Good, at least in my opinion, it was actually better than what he won for. I just don't know that they'll give it to him just a year removed from that award, even if I think he deserves it, which I do. So Yeah, I would probably say Frankenstein's the winner here as well to go along with production design.
Yeah. Yeah, it does make sense. And again, Frankenstein just has very lavish costumes. Just, oh my God, just gorgeous.
Hmm.
Then we got makeup and hair, which we have Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Sinners, Wicked for Good. Hamnet really threw me for a loop. I was like, for the clay face paint stuff, like what? That was weird. That for me, that was just
Yeah, that's
bizarre.
the good.
But
Yeah,
again, Frankenstein just hasn't really missed a beat. Now, granted, Sinners in One Battle did pretty well at the Makeup Guild, but One Battle is also not nominated for the Oscar. But Frankenstein, it's just kind of been the makeup juggernaut this season. It's like transforming
yeah.
Jacob Elordi into the monster is like,
Mm.
my God. And so, yeah, I don't really, especially now that you don't have, especially at the Oscars, you don't have Wicked in there. It's like, okay, well, now,
Right.
like, it's just like Frankenstein's just easily taking this as well.
Yeah, I also have Frankenstein predicted. I mean, what they did to Elordi is super impressive, and everybody's been touching on that. But also it was in such a short amount of time, right? Like I saw a lot of interviews with GDT, and he was talking about it was only like 8 weeks that they had to like prepare Elordi for that transformation because it was supposed to be Garfield initially, and that's a different body structure and facial expressions and whatever. So they basically had to redo the whole concept in 8 weeks, and that's really impressive. On top of being really impressive, which it is when you see it. So. I mean, there's some contenders in the category, but I'm pretty confident with Frankenstein taking this one along with the other two that we just mentioned. So that'll be kind of like a trio of text for that film. I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, no, that is true, and not only did you mention that, like about how Andrew Garfield, being like having to leave and being replaced by Jacob Elordi, but Jacob Elordi is also like what a full 6 inches taller than Andrew Garfield, so it's like it's not even just
Right.
different body structures. It's just Jacob Elordi's just a beast of a dude. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, Frankenstein is just kind of easily winning this, and it's mainly the design categories. It's getting like the Poor Things treatment here, minus an
Right.
acting category. So yeah, special visual effects. We have Avatar: Fire and Ash, F1, Frankenstein, How to Train Your Dragon, and The Lost Bus. I'm going to be completely real. I'm scared here.
Okay.
And here's the reason. Visual effects is definitely a category where they do like to pick favorites. It's like this is a long-standing thing. Other than the whole Ex Machina thing, which you could argue there was vote splitting there because there were 3 Best Picture nominees in a Star Wars film. Like the last time, other than that, a non-Best Picture nominee beat at the Oscars beat a Best Picture nominee for visual effects was all the way back in the 70s.
Hmm.
And I've been saying, I'm scared of F1 beating Avatar.
Oh wow.
I am scared because
Huh.
oh my God, like the fact that F1's now in Best Picture, it's like this is scary. Now Sinners is also nominated for visual effects at the Oscars, which again, that's also scary, but it's also not nominated here. Which again for BAFTA is very bizarre because I was like, surely they would have done that because again they'll nominate literally anything for visual effects. I mean again I just look at like
Sure. Sure.
I
Yeah.
remember them like God like I'm trying to
Well, I mean, even look at this group. I mean, with How to Train Your Dragon, and I was just like, what?
yeah
I mean, they're good, but
I
yeah.
mean, the Oscars didn't even shortlist it, or hell, even the BAFTAs nominated. Like the BAFTAs, basically, the BAFTA lineup for visual effects usually ends up being what like people early on predicted for the Oscar because they thought Everything Everywhere All at Once was going to happen, they thought Arrival was going to happen, and they
Yeah.
thought Black Panther was going to happen, or Poor Things. They didn't happen at the Oscars, but they always happen at BAFTA because BAFTA likes to play favorites, at least in terms of even with nominations. But regardless, I'm like.
Yeah.
I am very, like, for me, if Avatar wins this, all right, it's clear. But, again, Avatar is just not in a good position right now. Sure, people can argue it is Avatar. And obviously, it is the deserving winner because literally no other film here is remotely close to the level of visual effects that Avatar is at. But I do worry about this, and I think it's a bad thing to think or a bad way to vote. I think it's a bad way to vote, but I do have a worry that people could go, well, we've done Avatar already, but even though that's just like,
Yeah.
but it's still much better than everything else here. But I do worry about
Right.
that. And with
Yeah.
F1,
I was to say, you're talking about, the fatigue, like the fatigue of it all. And
yeah,
just,
again,
yeah.
it shouldn't happen for visual effects because I feel like that's just not fair. But there is that worry, and F1, it's probably winning editing, could probably win sound. Oh, that's prime for a visual effects upset here, and I'm scared, and I'm so scared that I might actually predict F1 for visual effects here out of fear because
Yeah. At the BAFTA, you mean?
if it wins BAFTA here, I would also predict it for the Oscar.
Oh, well, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Then you have a serious argument. But I'm saying you're predicting it for the BAFTA though, F1.
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, this is going to be the easiest and the simplest and the dumbest commentary that I'm going to give on this, but I'm not going to bet against JC. So Cameron is getting my prediction. I just don't. I mean, I saw this thing. I saw it in Dolby IMAX, and I mean, like, I didn't even really like the movie. I mean, it was okay. I think I gave it like a 6 out of 10. I mean, I didn't hate it, but you're literally just your mouth is open the whole time. Like, how the hell did they do this? And it's like it seems like these people are real. I mean, I know they are, but you know what I mean? Like, it just is like everything is actually happening. And it's and not to take anything away from these other nominees and the things that they do with the cars and everything else. And F1 is also really, really good. But like, kind of like what you just said, there's nothing operating on a level of VFX as to what Cameron and the team have done with these movies, and they just keep getting better. And it's fucking crazy, man. So I can't go against it. I mean, I can see what you're saying. I can see the argument, especially if it loses BAFTA to a Best Picture nominee. Then there could be some issues, and then I could change my tune. But right now, until I'm proven otherwise, I'm going to stick with JC.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying Avatar doesn't deserve to win. It should. Absolutely. But the thing is, I've stopped, like, ever since, with the whole Godzilla -1 thing, where it beat the creator, which I feel like should have obviously won visual effects, because I feel like there's just nothing that year that was, like, operating at the level of the creator, and how seamless that was. But what happened there? The Oscars went for their favorite film in the category, and that was Godzilla -1, a film that couldn't even
Sure.
win the only award it was nominated for at VES. And the same thing could be said for 1917. It didn't even win supporting visual effects at VES. It lost that to The Irishman, and yet it beat both that and The Lion King, despite those performing very well at VES. So it's just like, I do kind of like, ever since that, I'm just like, okay, so clearly the Oscars and definitely the BAFTAs, they don't really vote for, in terms of the winners, they don't really vote with their brains. They vote with their hearts. So I'm worry that their hearts will be in for F1. So again,
I could see that.
I
I mean, I
hope
could see the argument for sure. Yeah, I could see the argument for sure. I mean, Avatar got into costumes, which was a surprise.
but also,
It always shows up and shows out there for VFX.
mhm.
James Cameron's basically a living legend to those guys. So
Yeah,
I
no,
see your argument, and I could see it happening, but I'm going to stick with Avatar until I'm like, okay, wow, this is in danger. So
yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, I'm not even blaming you for that, but at least with the costume thing, like the one thing I would also say that is that they also really hated Wicked to that extreme of a degree. Like,
they did, unfortunately. I know.
I mean, like,
Yeah,
even like
it was weird.
I wasn't even that high on, I wasn't even that really that big on Wicked for Good. Like, I love the first one a lot, but the second one I was just
Yeah.
like, eh. But even then, I was like, it couldn't even get costumes or makeup. Like, even that's excessive for me. Like
Yeah.
but yeah, like, again, I'm not gonna blame you over predicting Avatar. It's just for me, I think the BAFTAs and the Oscars are probably going to be too biased to vote for a film that, like, I don't think they'll vote again. I don't think they'll vote based on the merit of the effects. I think they're going to vote personally based on like, oh, I like this movie more. But yeah, if Frankenstein
That could be
won,
true.
if Frankenstein won here, I'd be like, okay, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, what? Like, good God. But yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. Then we got sound. F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Warfare. I think,
Love it.
yeah. Again, once you put F1 in Best Picture, It's got sound because, like,
I
again,
think so too.
yeah, it's very much similar to editing. I was not like I did predict it for a nomination for sound because like you don't really need a Best Picture nomination to be nominated for sound, but to win,
Right.
you do kind of need to be in Best Picture because the only film in the expanded era to win a sound Oscar without being in Best Picture was Skyfall. But even then, it tied with Zero Dark 30, which was nominated for Best Picture. So it's like clearly, if there was like one sound category, Skyfall wouldn't be winning. It would either be Zero Dark 30 or Les Miserables. So
Right.
but now that F1 has Best Picture, it's got sound. I feel
Yeah, I agree. I don't even know honestly what the number two would be. I guess maybe One Battle, but
or
I love the
Sinners.
sound design and I love the sound design in Warfare. I mean that's what I would be voting for. And the Academy did it dirty, and Civil War with that Garland did last year got done dirty when it comes to sound design. I don't think it's a competitor, especially at the BAFTA. But yeah, I've got F1 winning this too.
Yeah, although my sound winner would probably actually be Surratt. It's just like, oh my
Yeah, that's
god.
cool.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I'm in among the ones here, but yeah, Surratt was really good too.
oh yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so it's like I do think Sinners has a chance because it does have like two things that people love when it comes to sound. They love violence and music. Like that was Amelia Perez. That was
That's true.
it didn't end up winning, but still, it's like
That's true.
yeah. But yeah, F1 is probably just gonna take it again. Sound editing, the sound editing stat is back. So there we go. Yeah, after a little bit of a hiatus.
There you go. Yeah.
Then we got original score: Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. Even if Sinners lost Best Picture, that's not enough of a reason for me to doubt it here in score. I mean,
No, God, no.
like I know some people are saying, All Quiet on the Western Front, surprise, and then there and whatnot. But there was, and also The Brutalist. But at the same time, like All Quiet on the Western Front, yeah, it beat out Babylon, but also like the Academy just did not respond well to Babylon at all. Babylon just like fumbled from the start, and whereas All Quiet was in Best Picture. And same thing kind of happened with Challengers, except even worse, because yeah, it won Golden Globe and Critics' Choice as well, but it didn't even get a single Oscar nomination or BAFTA nomination. So it's like, I just don't really know if I can call a One Battle After Another upset here. I mean, I'm not saying it can't possibly happen, but it's like, it's something like, again, it would have to show that One Battle After Another is sweeping to such an insane degree. But right now,
Right, I agree with that.
Yeah, but Sinners, I think it's easily got score. It's the score of the.
Yeah, I think this is Lovely's for sure. Yeah, I'm not even hesitant on this prediction. I mean, I don't even know what the number two would be. I do love Johnny Greenwood's score. I know a lot of people have been critical of it, but I love the kind of like deadpan monotone piano, and like I think it kind of speaks to the narrative of the film, but like of our times too, and just kind of like the redundancy that we seem to be kind of like trapped in. And I think he really harnessed that really well in that score. I really like the haunting score in One Battle, but I think Sinners is like unbeatable in this category. I mean, I would be really, really surprised. I do think that this is a great lineup, though. The five scores here, I love all of them so much. I was so happy Begonia got nominated because Fendrick's score was one of the very first things I even noticed about that movie when I saw it in the theater. I was like, oh my God, this is a fucking great score. I hope this gets nominated. So I was glad to see him show up here, but I would be happy with any of these, but I think it's easily Sinners.
Yeah, I think it's easily Sinners as well. I'm mostly a fan of this lineup, although I was one of the few people who was very much not on board with One Battle's score because I hated.
Okay, yeah, I've heard a lot of people. Yeah.
I hated the piano keys. Like it's like I hated.
But see, I listen to the. But see, when I listen to that, I think that's the point, though, is that you're not supposed to really like enjoy it necessarily. You're supposed to just kind of be like soaking up what it's representing, And I don't know if he was intending to be that meta or if it's just annoying. You know what I mean? But I'm choosing to look at it as the viewpoint I'm looking at it
Well, if it's that meta, then obviously it worked because I hate this. Like, if anyone remembers the Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel's "If We Pick the Winners" thing, they had a little category themselves called the worst nomination of the ceremony. And
oh wow,
I'm not sure if One Battle After Another would be my worst pick, would be my worst nomination for score, but But like it's at least it's up there because I'm trying to think of like I do love Sinners, but even visual effects for me was a bit too much. But like I don't know, it's something. But basically, I just don't like One Battle's score. Sinners, let's
That's
get
fine.
let's get Ludwig his third Oscar, baby.
Yeah,
I've been saying this from the get go. He like I don't care
I
how
think
many
it's
Oscars.
coming.
Yeah, I don't care how many Oscars he's already got. Like, give him another one. Like it like good God, like that guitar playing when the building's burning just sent chills up my spine. Let's
Hmm.
do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Animated film. This is also chaos. We have Elio, Little Amelie, or the character of Rain, and Zootopia 2, or as the British say, Zootropolis 2. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's funny. Um,
yeah. This is so weird because there's so many things, there's so many things wrong here. One, K-pop Demon Hunters was not eligible, so that throws a wrench into the whole bunch. But also, I thought Arco would get in here over no, not little, over Elio, because I was like,
yeah.
and what's even crazier
Do,
is that Little Amelie isn't in children's or family film, and yet Arco is. But
do you have any idea what the criteria is for that? Because I have no idea what the difference is between those and why there's only three nominees. Like, I literally don't know why.
I think, I'm assuming the reason why there's only 3 nominees here for animated film is because, let's face it, last year was a pretty terrible year for animated movies, and there were just not enough that were good enough. So that's probably the case here. And with children's and family film, I think that's actually voted on by a jury. Like this is one of the
Just who
few,
votes on it?
yeah, it's one of the few like juried categories left.
Okay.
So that like I think that's the case. But here's the other issue. Like, okay, Zootopia 2, it's consistent here. It's got animated film and children's and family film. All right, but here's one problem. Zootopia didn't even win Best Animated Feature back in the day. Like, not even the first one. It lost to Kubo and the Two Strings. And this one's less acclaimed than the first one. So it's kind of like, what do you do? Like, do you default to Zootopia, or do you try to say Little Amelie? Or like, I don't think Elio's winning. I mean, that would be crazy if it did. I mean, I'm not necessarily going to complain amongst this lineup, but it's like,
No, I really liked Elio. I don't know why that movie got bashed. I didn't see it when it came out. I only saw it like a couple months ago. My son and I watched it. We're rewatching all the Pixar films, and I had never seen it. And I was like, "This is really good. Why did everybody hate on this thing?" But I thought it was really good. But um, I don't really know what to do. I don't. I was trying to think of the history of Disney with the BAFTA because right now I'm thinking Little Amelie, but I know Frozen won there and Kanto won there, I believe. Um, so Disney does have some success there in the modern era at least. So it could be Zootopia too. I'm probably going to go to Little Amelie though, just for the like. I don't really even know why. Just for kind of like the independent nature of it, and it's just seems like it'd be more broadly appealing to our tours and families. And it's a really really good movie, a really beautiful film.
oh yeah.
So yeah, this is a good group. Honestly, I like all three of these movies, but I think Zootopia 2 might be like the easy pick because that's the more like crowd pleasing. Everybody probably saw it with their kids movie, you know. Um, but I'll go with Little Amelie, the little underdog.
Yeah, for me, it's the only, for me, I'll probably go for Little Amelie too, mainly because, again, it would just be so weird for Zootopia 2 to win here when it's less acclaimed than the first one, and even the first one couldn't win. Again, it lost to
Yeah,
Kubo and the Two Strings, so it's kind of like, it'd be very, very odd for this to be the one that wins. So I think I would probably go Little Amelie too, but again, it's also very weird because, in a little bit of a segue to the next category, children's and family film, uh, Little Amelie is not here. Because you got
mm,
Arco, you got Boone, you got Lilo and Stitch, and Zootopia 2. So it's just like, what do you do?
I
Now,
know that's why it's weird. That's why I get confused with them being because there's cross up with Zootopia, but nothing else.
yeah,
By the way, I wanted to mention I just was googling something. So Elio could be strong over there in animated because Pixar's won 8 times there, right?
perhaps,
That's
but
what Google's telling me, which is like that's a lot if you think about it.
I mean, true, but at the same time, it's not like Pixar's like invincible, because like Toy Story 4
Well,
did
no, that's
lose there,
mhm.
and not only that, but it's also Elio is just like one of the lesser acclaimed Pixar films. So for that to win,
I'm thinking in my head though too why I said it with Pixar having success, 8 winners there with it only being 3 nominees. I mean, it already has a 33% chance to win, do you know what I mean? So
I mean,
it
yeah.
only needs to get enough to do it. I'm still going to go a little Amelie, but I was just looking that up curious to see how it performed there. But looking at this children and family film, man, I'm going to defer to you because I have no clue what to do with this. I don't know what to do here.
Let
I
me
guess I guess I guess Utopia since it's in both categories.
let me look here at the BAFTA long list, because they do explain the rules for like children's and family film, I think, because I think this is juried. Yeah, 8 films are advancing in the children's and family film category out of 14 eligible films submitted for consideration. A jury determines the children's family film long list, nominations, and overall winner. So the entire the entire BAFTA Academy's not voting for this. It is, in fact, the jury. So they could throw
Okay.
a wild. So if they wanted to go for a wild card, they definitely could. So,
Mm,
and even then, like the children's and family film category, like whenever it was at the BAFTAs initially, no, like the children's and family BAFTAs, it also got very chaotic, because you get like again very wacko winners. Like I remember, like the first ever introduction of this category was like back in the 90s, when I don't know if you've ever heard this from this movie called Polly won. It was like about a bird that could talk, which it was a film I
mm.
really liked as a kid, but also no one really liked. So I was like, wait,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So it's just kind of like very strange category, and other than aside from when they before they introduced it to the main BAFTA ceremony, it was at the Children's and Family BAFTAs, which was like closer to the middle of the year or something like that. So they would have 2 different years overlapping with each other. So that kind of made it
Okay.
weird to predict there. But now that so again, we got a jury here voting for this. It's very bizarre. So they there are a bunch of different aspects you could go for this. Like for again, Arco, it is it's somewhat close to maybe being an upset for best animated feature, but also it wasn't even nominated for the animated feature category here. But at the same time, does that matter? Zootopia 2, it does have some crossover, so there's that.
Yeah.
Boong, I genuinely don't even know what that is, so it's probably not winning, unless I'm just wrong and it's just like, oh, Boong. It's like, okay. And then Lilo and Stitch made a lot of money, has a pretty, so that has a bit of an argument there. Plus, the jury was also implemented to help add a little bit more diversity to the nominations, and this is one of the only categories they have left. And Lilo and Stitch does have some indigenous Hawaiians in the film, so there could be an argument there. But it's also not super acclaimed. I mean, it's liked enough, but again, does that matter at this point? Because again, they have gone for non-acclaimed films before in this category. Basically, it's chaos.
Yeah, basically, we don't know. I mean, obviously, yeah, Wallace and Gromit last year would have made it easy, but
I mean, yeah.
I'm probably going to go Zootopia because also I'm kind of thinking, well, what if this category like translates to, and this isn't measurable, like there would be no way to really know this, but like, what if it translates to kind of like the cinematic and box office at the Globes, but it's just for like a family film? So it's like, what movie was most enjoyed by children and families in the theater this year? Probably Zootopia too. That's a stupid way to look at it, but I don't really know how to predict this category, so that's what I'm going to go with. Plus, you have the crossover, which makes me feel a little bit better about it too. But I would think it would probably either be that or Lilo and Stitch based on that mentality, because that was also a pretty big box office success, I think. But yeah, I'll go Zootropolis too, Christian. Zootropolis too.
I will say the one thing that makes me a little bit, it makes it easier to predict Zootopia 2 for me here, because again, it is a jury. It is not the overall BAFTA Academy, because like the BAFTA Academy, like they weren't the ones. Like actually, let me actually look up and see like if Zootopia won at the BAFTAs. or like at the Children's and Family BAFTAs. Actually, oh, I found it. Back in the day, the first Zootopia did win Best Feature Film at the Children's and Family BAFTAs. So, I don't know. Is that good enough logic for me? Maybe. I don't know.
It helps. It helps. Yeah, sure.
So yeah, it couldn't win the BAFTA, but it won the kids BAFTA. So okay, Zootopia 2, you win the children's BAFTA here this year.
You have our prediction, yes.
Film not in the English language. We have It Was Just an Accident, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sarat, and the voice of Hind Rajab. It kills me so deeply that No Other Choice is not here. Destroys me, destroys my heart. I hate my life. But anyways, this is where I feel like things could definitely shift for the Oscars, because on one hand, The Secret Agent has been surprisingly doing very well in cleaning up Critics' Choice and Golden Globes, but Sentimental Value is still the overall stronger film. And unlike Emilia Perez, between when it was that battle between Emilia Perez and I'm Still Here, there is no controversy for Sentimental Value. It's not hated. It's not a meme. So there's nothing inherently stopping it from taking this category and potentially the Oscars as well. And I might actually do that. I might actually predict Sentimental Value to win here over The Secret Agent. Now, granted, if Secret Agent does win here, then yeah, it's over. But what are you thinking?
That's kind of what I'm thinking as well. I want to predict The Secret Agent here because I also am currently of the mindset that The Secret Agent will win at the Academy, but I think they're going to go hand in hand. So I would have to predict that here for it to come true with the Oscars, technically in my head. I also would love for Jafar Panahi to somehow get one of these televised prizes for his film. It Was Just an Accident. And I think that's still somewhat of a possibility with the international body here. But I do think it's probably between Secret Agent and Sentimental Value. And I think just with this group, Sentimental Value is probably going to come out more favorable. And I think it's going to go Sentimental Value. Now, when you get to the Oscars, it might be a little tougher, even if Sentimental Value wins this, because the South American contingent with the Oscars is heavier. There's a lot more voters from that region of the country. And, I'm Still Here, you mentioned earlier, did really well last year. So it could still win at the Oscars, but in my head, they kind of go hand in hand. So I'm going to go, because if The Secret Agent wins, then like you said, it's over.
Yeah.
If Sentimental Value wins here, it doesn't look great for The Secret Agent, but I don't think it's over, if that makes sense. I think it could still win the Oscar, even if it doesn't win here. But I'm going to go Sentimental Value at the BAFTA for non-English.
Yeah, I'm going to go Sentimental Value. And for me, if it did win here, I probably would predict Sentimental Value to win at the Oscars, because again, it's unlike Emilia Perez, it's just not a meme. Like, it's not like made a joke where like people are just generally agreeing like, oh yeah, very good movie. Like, there's just nothing really to complain about with Sentimental Value, and there's nothing really to complain about Secret Agent either. But it's just like, I just feel like if Emilia Perez was just not like the most made fun of movie of that year, it probably would have won an international feature. And the controversies just didn't come to light and all that. But
I mean, a lot of people still thought it was going to anyway. I mean, there was a lot of people still predicting there's a lot of people still predicting at the end there just because of how many nominations and it was so strong and Zoe and everything else. So, I think that The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value is just obviously more broadly liked by the Academy. It's stronger when you get to that level of award season. It's just got 9 nominations, I think.
Yeah.
And way beyond international feature. Now, they're both in Best Picture, which is huge. I mean, that's a big deal. But then you start getting to the text. It got 4 acting nominations, screenplay, director. I mean, it's like editing, which I didn't even think it was going to get. So it's just stronger. So I feel like The Secret Agent really needs to win this. It almost has to win this.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough road if it doesn't win this one. And historically, what the BAFTA historically does, I would anticipate they would give it to Sentimental Value. Now, they could surprise me and give it to Secret Agent, which would be great. And actually, I love all 5 of these films, so I really don't care who wins. I think they're all brilliant movies. It's so funny because 4 of these 5 were in my top 10 of the year. So I'm like, this is great. This is a great lineup. And I love Surratt too. I mean, that was in my top 20. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go sentimental value, but I think Secret Agent could surprise and then ride its way to the Oscar. It just kind of depends on what happens here.
Yeah, definitely. For me, the worst film here is Sentimental Value, but even then, I still think that was good. It's just like for me in terms of like the international films, like for me, No Other Choice was easily the number one international
Oh
film
yeah,
for me.
yeah, I love that one too. Yeah,
Yeah, and then for me it would probably go like Accident. I guess then Henry's Job. Then I guess I would also count Little Amelie as an international film. So there's that, and and I love Surratt and Secret Agent. I very much like, but yeah, very good year for international films.
oh, very good, man. Left-handed Girl was awesome too. Sean
Oh,
Baker edited that film, really good.
I haven't seen that film, but Sean Baker's already giving me PTSD. Honora. But anyways,
Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad.
yeah.
I got my little Honora
No,
placard back there for you.
back away, Honora, back away. No,
I
away,
should have worn
Charlotte.
my Honora T-shirt for you, and I didn't think about it.
No,
Oh,
but yeah, like this could be consequential. It could make the race very interesting, and plus,
I agree.
if you do have sentimental value winning original screenplay here, it would make sense to predict it here for film not in the English language. So there is that at BAFTA. So yeah,
Yeah, which I think I did, right? I
yeah,
think
you
I did.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And then we get to, I think, actually, no, not the final category, because there are a couple others, but for documentary, we have 2,000 Meters to Andrivka, Apocalypse in the Tropics, Cover Up, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, and The Perfect Neighbor. I don't really see too much of a reason to doubt The Perfect Neighbor. I mean, like, because I was kind of wondering, I don't know, because, the past couple years, what I was predicting to go for the Oscar where film because I thought last year I thought maybe No Other Choice would not No Other Land would win the BAFTA, but then they went for Superman, which wasn't even nominated for the Oscar, and then the previous year the previous year they did have was it 28 Days in Mariupol, so they did do that. But this is interesting. I don't think The Perfect Neighbor is going to be too isolating for BAFTA. I mean, sure, it is American, but the BAFTAs also do kind of or at least are very fascinated by the crazy shit that happens here in America. And if you want to talk about Perfect Neighbor is definitely that. It kind of encapsulates so much of what's wrong here. So I would probably
It's very
yeah.
it's very topical and timely, but it is topical and timely U.S. centric. But it's just so popular and it's been winning everywhere where there's documentary prizes. And, I mean, even at the Indie Spirits this weekend it won, it's just like, and Netflix is the machine. I mean, especially when it comes to like documentaries and shorts and that kind of stuff, like they perform really well typically in those categories. I could see it losing because it is the popular pick or, the generic pick, and maybe people want to go against the grain with that. I just got a screener for Nobody Against Putin, but I haven't watched it yet. I'm assuming that's going to be another Russian-Ukraine story, just like the 2,000 meters. So you have two that are kind of like similar narratives there, and then right, and Cover Up is I did see that one was on HBO. That's a very American story, so I don't expect that one to go very far in the race either. I'm going to go Perfect Neighbor. I just think that it's just like this category always kind of slips by me, and the season kind of goes by, and I don't get to see them all until it's too late to really speak educatedly on it. And I feel like that might happen with a lot of voters where they're like, oh, well, I've seen Perfect Neighbor. I've heard everybody talking about that one. So, that must be it. And they might get a lot of that too, because it is the popular documentary this year. And it is a very important watch, like you said. I just wonder if that voice is going to be as loud to the BAFTA, since it is really about a U.S. problem for the most part. With the, what was it? The law, the Stand Your Ground law. Yeah. And all that BS that we have in this country in certain states. So, I don't know if that could hurt it at the end of the day, not having that international appeal to the story, but it's still important and it's still very popular in terms of a documentary. So that's what I'm going to go with too.
Yeah. Although I think in a way, maybe the American politics could help it because, as we've seen with the past year, I mean, with how the political landscape has been shaping up in the U.S., it's made a lot of other countries go, oh, let's not do that. Like I remember when Canada was originally supposed to be voting more conservative with their prime minister. until Trump took office, and then they were like, "Oh, wait, so this is what happens when we do that. Let's not do that. Let's go for I think it was the Labour Party. It was either the Labour or Liberal Party. I'm not I know UK has Labour, but it's one of those two. But that, like, the American politics literally shaped what would happen in Canada. So it's kind of like even the UK might go, oh, we might want to put a spotlight on Perfect Neighbor. And
right.
and then,
Right.
and plus, like, even when it's not just, American politics centric, I mean, there's nothing really more like, you can't get much more American than like Christopher Reeve as Superman, and that won last year.
That's true. That's true, actually. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't
Yeah.
think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, probably one of the more surprising upsets over at the BAFTAs, especially considering, the British, they were like somewhat nicer towards Palestine than the U.S. At least somewhat, like where they actually had like an arrest warrant out for Netanyahu, unlike us. So it's like they like basically Perfect Neighbor. The Americanness may not be too much for them. So yeah, and then
That's a good point.
yeah, then we get to Outstanding British Film. 28 years later, The Ballad of Lost Island, Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy, Die My Love, H is for Hawk, Hamnet, I Swear, Mr. Burton, Pillion, I almost said Fillion, and Steve. There's not really much of a contender here. I guess maybe you could make an argument for The Ballad of Lost Island because it's, shortlisted for best film and it's an adapted screenplay, which kind of like, but sort of like The Zone of Interest, but also The Zone of Interest literally got nominated for every single category except best film. So
Right.
It's like, I don't really see anything stopping Hamnet in this category.
No, I think it's Hamnet. I mean, I Swear had multiple nominations, but I'm not familiar with until the BAFTA nominations came out. I'd never even heard of that film. So, and I know Pillion is like has a surge right now, like in pop culture and in the zeitgeist, but I can't imagine Hamnet would lose this. I mean, that would be crazy. So I'm going to go with Hamnet.
Yeah, pretty easy for me. And then we get to the last category, Outstanding Debut by a British Writer, Director, or Producer. We have like Jack King, Holly Bryan, and Lucy Meir for The Ceremony, Akinola Davies Jr. and Wale Davies for My Father's Shadow, Harry Leighton for Pillion, Myriad Carton for A Want in Her, and Cal McHow, Hunter Andrews, and Eon Doran for Waste Man. This is interesting. I have a feeling it's probably going to be Pillion, because that's probably the strongest film here. There is an argument for My Father's Shadow, but I feel like Pillion is probably the most like well-known film here.
Yeah, and like I said, it has a surge right now. Like it's really popular right now on social media, and they're marketing it really well. It's putting wide recently, so that's the one I currently have too. But I am wondering about My Father's Shadow. That's definitely my number 2 though. But I think it's Pillion as well.
Yeah, especially since Pillion, I think, got DGA. I think got a DGA nomination. So yeah, very very easy to call that. And finally, we have the EE Rising Star Award. We have Robert Aramayo for. Actually, there's no movies, just the name. Miles Caton, Chase Infinity, Archie, Madekwi, and Posey Sterling. Even though Miles Caton and Chase Infinity are the bigger names, like they always without hesitation go for the British people. And if I'm not mistaken, Robert Aramayo is nominated for lead actor, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
yeah, that seems like almost a like kind of a trick though, right? Because I feel like I want to predict him too, because he's in the main categories and his film got nominated in multiple places. But guess what? So did Chase Infinity, and she's also in her category. So, but he's got the British piece, right? I mean, I'm assuming he's British. I'm not familiar with him, but I think he is.
If that film is like in there for like a British film, and it's like the big British film that was kind of like even not like shortlisted for best film, it's like. He's probably gonna win this because, like, the thing, like every because like Americans get nominated here all the time and they never win. Like it's like
this,
yeah.
This is one that's voted on by the public too, right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Chase Infinity just because I think she should win it, and she's my rising star. So I'm gonna go Chase Infinity.
Oh, I don't know. That's
I'm doing
just
it. And it's not only British people voting in this, I don't think. I think it's like anybody can vote in it. So,
although I don't
yeah.
although I can't think of any Americans that would just go, "Ooh, let me vote for the BAFTA Star Award." It's like I don't think Americans care enough to vote for that.
Oh man, that's a good point. That's a good point. All right, well, I'll stick with Chase and probably be wrong, but that's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, those are the BAFTA winners predictions. Oh boy. Yeah, it's going to be kind of chaos because, yeah, it's going to be airing on E, but that's going to be like much later on in the evening. So,
Yeah, I
and
don't
then
know what to do there.
how are you feeling about where BAFTA could be going and how it could potentially influence the Oscar?
I think the timeline this year it is huge implications because it's the last award show that the voters are going to see before they start voting. You know, the BAFTAs happen. I think voting opens like 3 days later. So, you know, to what we were saying tonight, if let's say Wumi Masaki wins and gives a great speech, that's going to go a long way. You know, same thing could be said for Tiana Taylor, in addition to the one that she already gave at the Globes that they saw. You know, speeches and momentum, you can never really predict that stuff. And when it happens, it happens. So the BAFTAs could have a huge influence. I think they will this year. I really do. I mean, we talked about a lot on this show that if they go one way, this is probably going to happen at the Oscars. You know, and that just proving the point that the BAFTAs are going to have a huge influence, especially the way it kind of shakes out this year. So I think getting the getting the BAFTA nominations after was really fucking weird for me. Like I was like, it made my head hurt. Um, but in terms of the wins, I think we're looking at seeing a pattern kind of start forming with the BAFTAs because that's going to roll over to the SAG and could roll over to the Oscars. So I think it could be huge, man. What about you?
Yeah, for a lot of categories, I think this is going to be very consequential. The only one I think is just really not consequential at all is best film because it's like again they will actively go against the Oscars even to like really hilarious degrees. They will go against the Oscars, like going for All Quiet when literally no one else did so. Even though hey, I love All Quiet, so I'm not going to complain about that. So
Right.
so yeah, like this is going to be absolute. This is going to be very interesting. And again, if Sinners can win some of these key categories at BAFTA, like if it can actually get a supporting actress win for Wonmi Masaku, that's definitely going to help. And also like, but at the same time, it could also show some big strength for One Battle After Another, where if you know Leo wins lead actor or one of the One Battle Boys wins supporting actor, oh
Mhm.
boy, like so many things could be consequential. But until with that, where can people find you?
Well, thanks for having me, man. Yeah, it's real easy. It's just the Awards Garage on predominantly on YouTube, but you can find me at all my socials. And whenever I put up a podcast episode, you can also find it under the Awards Garage, although that's rare. It's usually videos these days, especially during award season. But yeah, you know, I do predictions, rank all kinds of rankings, countdowns, have guests on to help me with power rankings and all kinds of stuff for award season. But I talk movies all year long. So it's just the Awards Garage on YouTube. Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
All
And
right.
we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you over there soon too, because you're after award season. You're gonna come on. I've been doing these Oscar retrospectives. What year are we doing? We're doing the Moonlight year, right?
Oh yeah, the
La La
Moonlight.
Land.
Yeah, Moonlight. It's
Yeah, we're
funny
gonna
that
do a
you.
retrospective.
Yeah, I remember when you like. It's funny that you mentioned how One Battle After Another and Sinners like you can't really lose here. For me,
Mm.
I couldn't lose back then because I like
Right.
Moonlight was my number one movie of that year and La La Land was my number two. So it's like, hey, you know what? I can't complain there. I pass the question off to you. What are your BAFTA predictions for the winners? Let me know in the comments below what you think, and be sure you hit that subscribe button because if you don't,
Uh, Miles Caton will have to take an Uber to the show.